Baldur's Gate is a game that is almost synonymous with old-school cRPGs. Whenever someone gives an example of a cRPG, this is the game that gets mentioned almost immediately. When you have to live up to a game like this, it can be hard to get noticed, and with the way games are put out today, it isn't always easy to find what you're looking for. That's why I'm here to sift through the garbage and find it for you. Let's take a look at some games that are similar to Baldur's Gate. Pillars of Eternity was first introduced to the public on Kickstarter as Project Eternity. This is a game from Obsidian, the same developer that put out great games like Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Fallout New Vegas. But they don't just do great sequels to games, and this game proves it. This is one of the best modern takes of the old cRPG style with all of the dressings that you would expect. You can have a party of up to 6 people, you can build your own stronghold, and there are plenty of adventures to be had here whether you're looking for a solid main storyline or various side quests. If you're into loot, there's plenty to be found here as well. Divinity Original Sin is the latest title in the ongoing series of Divinity games. The interesting thing about the Divinity series is the wide variety of styles that it has tried out. Divine Divinity had Diablo-style combat with an open world. Divinity 2 was a third-person hack-and-slash where you could also turn into a dragon and fly around. Divinity Original Sin brings it back to a more cRPG style, but with turn-based combat. The cool thing about the combat is the interactions with the environment, where you can do things like freeze water that your enemy is standing on, or blow up oil barrels. There are so many different interactions that are fun to discover. Top that with a huge story and interesting characters, and you have a fantastic game for fans of the genre. Shadowrun Returns is a great cRPG by Harebrained Schemes. Shadowrun was a Sega Genesis classic and a long-beloved science fantasy tabletop role-playing game. So when a developer announced that they would be bringing a new game in that world through Kickstarter, tons of people threw their money at it. After it finally got into the hands of consumers, they knew they made a good choice. But developer Harebrained Schemes didn't stop there. They kept coming out with new expansions for Shadowrun that have all been great. Shadowrun has a turn-based style of combat and plenty of different adventures to go on, with the addition of the Dragonfall and Hong Kong expansions. If you're looking for something a bit more sci-fi, this could be your game. Arcanum is a game that was released only 3 years after Baldur's Gate, and has an interesting world to explore with a non-linear plot. Arcanum takes place in a fantasy world with an added touch of steampunk. The combat in the game is pretty strange since you can choose between 3 different modes: real-time, turn-based, or a faster turn-based style. The whole game is a bit different, but it has a lot of the great cRPG backbone that you love. There are plenty of different choices to make and a lot of different ways to play the game, so there's actually a decent amount of replayability to be had here as well. Planescape Torment is widely considered one of the best games of all time and one of the best stories in gaming. The setting is very different to your traditional fantasy cRPG world, but that doesn't make it less amazing. This is a game that came out a year after Baldur's Gate, and it was made on the same engine with some modifications. The multiverse is an interesting place, and as your character, the Nameless One, seeks to discover clues about himself, you'll meet plenty of strange and interesting people. This is a great game to pick up, and with the upcoming release of another Planescape game, this is a cRPG that you should pick up and play. I highly recommend this game to any RPG fans. Those are just a few of the great games out there that are similar to Baldur's Gate. Many of these games have sequels or prequels that are worth picking up as well, so if you're looking for more games like Baldur's Gate, this should give you a good place to start. All the games that I mentioned are available through Steam or GOG. There are always more fun games out there, so if these don't grab you for some reason, there are plenty more that you can try. Happy hunting! This has been Games Like Baldur's Gate, and I'm Melchiorus from GameClouds. Have a good night, friends.